Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining. My name is Clovis Westland. I'm an organizer and student at Ohio State University, and I'll be hosting today's press conference. This past weekend, over 100 student leaders and organizers from across 70 student groups and 12 universities, including Ohio State, the University of Cincinnati, Miami University, Case Western, Bowling Green, Muskingum, and many more convened in Columbus. And together, we promoted our shared vision for Ohio's future called the Ohio Young People's Platform. And we shared how we plan to build long-term student power for young Ohioans and students. The Ohio Young People's Platform is a political platform shaped by the young Ohioans and lays out a proactive vision for our state's future that centers on the voices, experiences, and interests of young people from different walks of life. Our speakers today are student leaders from universities and cities all across Ohio. We'll hear from each of our six speakers, and then we'll close out with questions from the media. Please hold any and all questions to the end. Thank you. I say let's jump in, let's get started. Our first speaker today is Danielle Sun from Case Western Reserve University.
Hi, thank you for that introduction, Clovis. Hi again, everyone. My name is Danielle Sun. I am a current third-year student at Case Western. I'm studying biomedical engineering, and I'm also current co-president of my campus Ohio Student Association chapter. So I am originally from Toledo, Ohio, where I was born and raised. I'm a proud daughter of a Chinese immigrant family, as well as an older sister to a younger brother with a medical disability. So my whole life, I've been accompanying him and my family through various hospitals, in and out of doctors' offices. And I've seen the way that being a person with a disability, being an immigrant, a non-native English speaker, a person of color, and a woman will affect and can diminish the very medical care that you receive, care which you deserve and need when you are simply fighting for your life, your health, and your right to exist. I have also seen firsthand the unjustly exorbitant costs of the medical system, and it should not be the case that basic forms of healthcare, from emergency hospital visits to essential medical equipment, subject people to huge medical bills that serve to profit CEOs of hospitals and medical corporations. Things like a breathing machine to help my 16-year-old little brother breathe every day should not be something that puts such an economic burden on my family. So my commitment to health equity has continued to be solidified through my education in biomedical engineering, as well as the medical humanities, and my involvement in my Ohio Student Association chapter. I've been inspired by countless dedicated individuals and grasped the importance of advocating for the struggles that afflict our families and communities, and have been invigorated in the impact that we can have in bettering the lives of our family and everyone around us. So by coming together in a coalition with other fellow empowered young student leaders, we strengthen and invigorate our aspiration to change our world for the better. So here at the Ohio Young People's Platform, we stand upon the fundamental belief that health is the foundation upon which every aspiration, dream, and goal is built. And healthcare is a fundamental human right. It should be a basic human right to have healthcare required to fulfill one's potential in life, though that is not the world we currently live in. By fighting for health equity, we want to build a world where we ensure that the size of one's bank account, the color of their skin, their gender identity, their native language, none of these factors should ever determine the quality of their care or their ability to receive it. And accessing healthcare should not require us to evaluate the advantages and financial implications, forcing us to choose between addressing a health issue and meeting basic needs, like paying rent, caring for children, or putting food on the table. As a whole, accessible healthcare not only safeguards individual well-being, but also fosters a more healthy and productive society. And we can build a system where everyone can prioritize their health without compromising other essential aspects of their lives. In addition, affordable housing should be a fundamental right, ensuring that all of us Ohioans can establish stable living conditions without compromising our overall well-being or subjecting ourselves to belittlement or discrimination. In addition, fostering accessible housing promotes societal stability overall by enhancing our community's well-being. And when individuals have secure and affordable housing, it positively impacts their health, education, and employment opportunities. This, in turn, contributes to a more resilient and thriving community fabric. Us young people have been at the forefront of change across history, and in fighting for adequate systems of healthcare and housing for all, irregardless of socioeconomic status or identity, we will build a better, a more humane, equal, and prosperous future for ourselves and all generations left. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Danielle. Danielle spoke specifically to the first plank of our Ohio Young People's Platform, ensuring our freedom to thrive. You can read more about this plank as well as our six others at our website, ohioyoungpeoplesplatform.com. I'm going to pass it to our next speaker, Aveline Clark from the University of Akron.
Clovis? Hi, my name is Aveline Clark. I'm a second year student at the University of Akron, and I'm a sociology and social work double major, and a member of our chapter of OSA, the Ohio Student Association. I'm also queer and transgender. Since high school, many of my friends have also been queer and transgender. Some of us have only had those realizations recently, but some of us have known who we are for a very long time. I still keep in contact with some of my friends who are still in high school, young queer folk who are bright and happy and wonderful and want to live in a body that they're comfortable in a world that supports them. Unfortunately, in the state of Ohio, thanks to a man named Gary Click and those like him, it recently became illegal for trans youth to achieve those dreams. House Bill 68, which was recently passed into law, denies access to the critical gender-affirming care that trans youth need, in addition to barring trans athletes from participating on sports teams for women and girls. This bill, combined with anti-trans proposals from Governor DeWine and other anti-LGBTQ bills, is creating a hostile environment for queer people in Ohio of all ages, but specifically, the attack is against young people. That is why this Young People's Platform is so important. Whether we like it or not, young people have been forced to the front lines of this struggle, and it's up to us to put our voices and our power together. We need to rally, not just to combat these oppressive, heartless bills, also to call for bills that will help the queer community. Through this platform, we will work to end gerrymandering so that we can have a truly representative legislator and one that will not pass bills that harm the queer folk of this state. We will organize students to meet with legislators, educate voters, and ensure that we can build a future that is safe and supportive for everyone. I believe that together, and with this platform, we can make sure that Ohio is a state that young queer people can not only live in, but thrive in. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aveline. I'm going to pass it now to Isaac Wilson from The Ohio State University.
Hello, everyone. Like they said, my name is Isaac Wilson. I'm a third-year aerospace engineering major with a minor in political science, and this is just a little bit about my story. So, I grew up here in Columbus on the south side, and my mom always told me that I would be a unicorn in the sense of being the only Black man in aerospace and going to being one of the first people in my family going to school. And it would be very lonely in these spaces, very hard to deal with a lot of the microaggressions that you face as a Black man in America. And I never really felt like the idea of community growing up in terms of being able to walk in with Black people and being able to feel that support. And the first time I really understood that was through Black Lives Matter, was a protest that I did in Huber Heights, and that was my junior year of high school. And that was like something that really pushed me to get to work and hit the ground running. I came to school, I became the vice president of NAACP, legislative coordinator, student affairs, and more. But I feel like I still wasn't quite doing enough until the protest for Donovan Lewis, which is a young man in Columbus who was murdered by the Columbus Police Department, unfortunately, as well as working with the testimonies for Senate Bill 83 and providing those for the State House. And those two things, working on those two things and leading those initiatives, it really helped me understand the idea of community and the idea of what we need as a community for racial justice. And that's what this platform is trying to achieve. This platform is trying to understand that all racial injustice is all of our issues. And it doesn't matter the demographic and what affects one group compared to another. But in order to build unity, in order to build community, we are trying to achieve that. So that is what the Ohio Young People platform is about. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Isaac, and thank you, Aveline and Danielle, as well, for kind of speaking to the Ohio Young People's Platform and how it relates to your experience. I am now interested in kind of introducing Clara Conover, a student at Miami University, who speak more about building student power and coalitions around advancing the Ohio Young People's Platform.
Thank you, Clovis. My name is Clara Conover. I'm a senior at Miami University studying political science and geography. I'm a student organizer and proudly the co-founder and communications director at the Ohio Young People's Platform Coalition. Alongside the Ohio Young People's Platform, we're also proud to announce that we're launching the Ohio Young People's Platform Coalition, an organizational counterpart focused on sustained student power building efforts statewide. As we've seen students organize on their respective campuses, we've recognized a need together to connect across the state to truly leverage our power as students. The mission of the Ohio Young People's Platform Coalition is to grow and strengthen student power by promoting information sharing, community building, and skill development directed towards statewide advocacy, thus leveraging the power of young people for collective action toward our shared progressive vision. We value building movements through moments, fuel action with long-term strategy, place our faith in everyday young people, champion solidarity across issues, struggle, and identity, and know that we have to work together to achieve an Ohio that works for all of us. Our coalition's shared vision outlined in the Ohio Young People's Platform guides collective strategic action across the state to achieve concrete changes and improvements in our communities through issue campaigns, engaging candidates around the platform, and holding elected officials accountable on the issues that matter to young Ohioans. The student organizations we seek to unite consist of political groups, student government, Black and Brown student groups, LGBTQ+ groups, ethnicity and identity-based groups, graduate student groups, and academic organizations. We are a people-powered platform. By defining specific goals of our student power movement and taking actionable steps to achieve them, our organization pledges to connect the young changemakers of our state's political sphere dedicated to a brighter future. The Ohio Young People's Platform puts our dreams into words, articulating our shared vision as a pathway boldly forward. The Ohio Young People's Platform Coalition comprises a group of organizations focusing on a diverse range of issues, ultimately driven by one bottom line, an Ohio that works for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Clara. And if you'd like to kind of look into more of the details around the coalition, you can go to the website, the ohioyoungpeople'splatform.com, to kind of get more details on that. I'm going to pass it over to our fifth speaker of the day, Olivia Gallo, also a student at Miami University, to speak more on the coalition power of organizing.
Thank you, Clovis. Hi, my name is Olivia Gallo. I'm a second-year organizational leadership and social justice student. Last March, I was a freshman sitting in a classroom at Miami University when a student raised her hand and asked, "What is Senate Bill 83?" The room where that question was asked was the same room that I began organizing students to take action against Senate Bill 83. We passed a piece of paper around the room asking students to sign up to join in on the fight. And when that paper was passed back to me, I saw that every student in the classroom had written their name down. This highlighted to me the deep and utter importance of young voices and that we have a passion for making the change we want to see. In late April, during my finals week, I organized and facilitated a protest on Miami's campus that gained statewide publicity. The power that came from that day energized all of the students on campus. We stood in front of our student center fighting for a future that wasn't ridden with hate. I will forever have a mental picture of the wonderful community of Miami students standing on that corner making their opposition known. This Senate Bill 83 work transitioned to a day of action this past October. The Day of Action, which we coined as Action Amplified on our campus, was a place where students could register to vote, learn about other student organizations, and talk about the change they wanted to see in Ohio. Prior to the Day of Action, we found a group of students from all across campus that were passionate about educational justice and unifying student power. We spent hours planning for the Day of Action, sitting in long meetings late after class, working fervently to that day. From then to today, those people have taught me so much about genuine friendships, love, and care, and how organizing and community go hand in hand. Specifically, on that Day of Action, we all stood on the street corner from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and those who couldn't be there still contributed. Annika, who I love dearly, brought me a cinnamon roll, and later that night when I heated up my cinnamon roll in the microwave, as she advised me to do, I could almost feel the loving arms of this coalition of people who lifted me up and each other up that day. We connected with organizations on campus like Students Demand Action that fights against gun violence. As students, we came together to fight for each other's voices, finding commonality in our activism. I have firsthand seen what fighting for what we believe in looks like. With every person I've met and every relationship I've built on Miami's campus has had a foundation of love and connectedness simply because we are sharing our hearts when we organize. We share the things that mean the most to us, and this is what we are trying to do with the Ohio Young People's Platform Coalition for campuses across our state. Once again, we are finding shared vision in these pillars and connectedness in the hearts, lives, and passions of everyday students in our classes, clubs, and campuses. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Olivia. I'm going to pass it to our final sixth speaker of the day, Brielle Shorter, a student at Ohio State University.
Thank you, Clovis. Yes, my name is Brielle. I'm a second-year psychology student. Once again, as I said, at OSU. You know, I remember my upbringing very vividly. I was a young girl in Cincinnati, attending a predominantly white institution, as I have for most of my life. We would wear dashikis, which is a piece of cultural clothing, on Fridays. We had joyous occasions, dancing and filming videos. We would share jokes at our cafeteria. And all of those memories I'm so thankful for. Yet beneath this almost picture-perfect childhood, there was a dark racial undercurrent. It was during these formative years that I first became aware of my difference. The feelings of fear, discomfort, and confusion that accompanied this have stayed with me for 19 years. And, you know, despite my joy and the fact that I continue to laugh and have fun, there's always been a shadow of apprehension, a fear that's hovered over me. It's a constant reminder of the racial tensions that persist today. So I distinctly remember my initial reaction upon hearing about Senate Bill 83. It's a piece of proposed Ohio legislation that has anti-diversity, equity, and inclusion implications. At first, it seemed almost surreal. I actually thought that it was a parody. Yet, as I dived deeper into what it actually meant and what it was about, I found myself grappling with the real possibility of having to leave Ohio State. And the fear that I once felt as a child gripped me once again, and the looming threat was suffocating. So in my younger years, the racism that we encountered was often dismissed as part of the human experience. People will always act like that. There will always be people with unfavorable attitudes. I was taught to focus on myself. I was discouraged from standing up for others because we were already burdened heavily with our own struggles. Learned hopelessness became a familiar companion, a mindset where one will internalize a sense of despair. This despair causes them to lose interest in changing their circumstances. But amidst this darkness, organizing emerged as a beacon of hope. Platforms like the Ohio Young People's Platform instilled within me that and instilled this sense of optimism for our future. Witnessing individuals fight with hope and against discriminatory legislation like House Bill 68 fills me with so much joy, the joy that I once felt in childhood. So let the success of the summit serve as a rallying cry for hope. The Ohio Young People's Platform is a driving collective filled with amazing, amazing future activists. And let us forge ahead with determination, knowing that change is not only possible, but is inevitable when we all stand united. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brielle, and thank you to all of our six speakers today. I want to give actually an extra shout out for our speakers for in the middle of midterms or whatever's going on for being here to kind of share stories and to share some of your experience with everyone. We'll now move on to the Q&A portion. If there are any folks in the room or any media who have any questions, I'll pause for any questions. Okay, if there aren't any questions, that concludes our press conference. Thank you so much for joining. For more information about the platform or the coalition, you can find us on all social media platforms at OYPPC, as well as at our website, ohioyoungpeoplesplatform.com. To reach us for further media inquiries or student testimony requests, please email us at info@ohioyoungpeoplesplatform.com. Have a great day. Thank you all for coming.